Thanksgiving.
Well, I was born on Thanksgiving, but it wasn't
What?
Thanksgiving this year, but it's always sort of celebrated on Thanksgiving.
That's cool. So you always get pumpkin pie on your birthday, at least.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, this year was really big. This is a special birthday.
Yeah.
And I said to my kids, I got 3 kids, they're 32, 29, 27, yes. 32, 29, and 27. And, you know, I don't know if you've got kids that, you know, at a certain point, like they go off and they, you know, they have stuff going on in the summer and they've got school and they've got
Yeah.
jobs. And, you know, family vacations are like a thing of the past. So I said, I really want to just go away, all of us.
Yeah.
And I had found this like sort of all-in-one place in Mexico that I thought would be perfect.
Did you go to Mexico?
Yeah. I thought it would be perfect because like they could go off and go to the gym and they could, you know, they could pair off and do tennis, you know, mix and match. Because you don't have to make reservations anywhere. It's just all very free and easy, and we kind of connect when we connect.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly. Everybody had a great time.
Food was inclusive and stuff.
Food is inclusive, drinks are inclusive, all the activities are inclusive.
Wow.
So it was just the perfect thing, and we hadn't been together since they were in high school.
Wow.
This is 32, so it was a great time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those significant others were there too?
They were all invited. Rosa, the fiance, came. Steve declined. He doesn't have a son, so it was my husband.
He didn't go?
Yeah, I didn't know that. He's been doing more and more of that, so I just don't have it.
Yeah.
So my Sammy's fiance Rosa, she came, and Harris's girlfriend Elena saved her vacation time for cookie baking with her parents.
Wow.
She couldn't do it, and Nathan and his new friend I think they're not destined for very long, so that doesn't happen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, everybody just loves each other, which is so great.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most amazing thing. Like the biggest gift of my life is like I never expected my kids to like each other.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like your siblings, but I have a complicated story. It's not worth getting into. But so I never really. I was like, if they get along reasonably well, I was happy, and I never had that expectation. But in fact, they actually all really do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they like to hang out together. You know, when it's not a family thing. Like they
Yeah,
just get
yeah.
together to like play catch or baseball in the park or to go to the gym together or something. It's so beautiful. Yeah. And that's a surprise to me. So I have no idea how that happened, but I'm very grateful. So it was just a really, really, really awesome time. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Seth, how are you feeling? You're here in your shoes match.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been better every week.
Yeah. No, and you know, it takes a toll. Did Mike reach out to you about Tuesday?
This past weekend.
No, about this coming Tuesday.
This coming weekend.
Yeah.
We didn't meet last weekend. What was the?
The tour review. Yeah, so this Tuesday, we have a scribe so good.
Nice.
I don't know what time, but Mike's kind of coordinator.
I haven't heard from him. What can I do? How can I help?
Here, okay.
Bring it back.
We'll talk about it. What?
Last week it was dismal at the south, and then Phil Capel.
Okay.
Jeff was there.
Right.
Last week. Oh,
Cantor Jeff, right? He's good.
pardon me?
Cantor Jeff.
And he has a wife here, they're violinists.
Oh, she was there too? Cool.
And shakers, those are a lot of fun.
You know, she was part of the Klezmatics. I saw them on. Yeah.
Famous husband,
She's incredible. Like I saw like on David Letterman or something. And she was like there jamming.
you were there.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, she's. Oh.
bum bye, ya da 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 na 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 ya na na ya na na ya na 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 na. Sing that. Ya na na ya na na ya na 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 ya na na ya na na ya na na. I was telling Ben I learned that nigun actually via colleague and friend Shir Yaakov Fight, but he learned that from Reb Zalman Shalomi, Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi of blessed memory, and many of you maybe perhaps you've heard of him, read some of his books, and I know that nigun was taught to him by his mother, who sang that to him, and he was born in the old country, many years, actually several years before World War II. They got out by the skin of their teeth, about 1943. And so that music then must have been, who knows, maybe sung to her by her mother, and to her by her mother. So wonderful to have that musical legacy passed down from so far and so long ago. Hey, Jen, you want to light the candles? Oh, you're here. Yeah, before you do that, why don't you want to read this? Yeah, read this one. Read the one at the bottom, right there. I'll get you the mic.
The one in English or the one in Hebrew?
In English. Okay. Oh, do you read Hebrew?
Well,
Yeah, read it in English.
All right. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety.
I gave you the wrong page. It's okay.
Oh, it's the wrong page?
That's my fault.
It's a good one, though.
It is a good one, but that comes later in the service. Can we turn to page 3? Page 3.
So
What-
on the bottom?
I can't see without my glasses. Is that page 3?
That's 12.
Okay. Can you turn?
Oh, yeah, let me just,
Yeah.
let me just find it. All right, 3.
There we go. The one at the bottom. There you go.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Thank you. Light the candles. Oh, well, kind of goes like this.
Oh, it's
what?
that way. Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it's got a lot of fluid. You might have to use a stick.
Okay. Anything using a match before.
Oh, really? I can help you with that.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's good skill to have, though. Of course, these aren't the easiest.
Okay, thanks. So I'll just.
It's going to burn your finger in a second.
Oh, shit.
Hold it at the very end.
Okay.
There you go. Blow it out. There you go. Great job. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I think we're on page 5 for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikrahei kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Let's wave to everybody out there in YouTube land. We miss you. Don't forget to say thank you to Seth next time you see him. Let's turn to page 24 and put the glasses on so we can see what's going on. Page 24, we welcome that double helping of soul that we're taught that arrives with the sunset on Friday nights. Brings us the ability to be present, just a little bit more present, and to be in the now. And to remember everything is exactly the way it should be. Just for today. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Zetchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So let's make sure that we know one another. Names are always tricky. Can we make sure that everybody knows one another's names and introduces ourselves to one another? Everybody make sure they know Josie and Jen, Glenn, and Seth. That was an A, right?
Yeah.
And Ben, of course. Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be back. Ana b'choach, gdulat yamincha, tatir yitzura. Holy One of Blessing, with your strength, untie our knots. We are so knotted up. Maybe it starts at our jaws, or maybe in our necks. But it extends to our hearts too. Holy One of Blessing, let this time be a melting of that tension. Let us drop away those things that we don't need to hold on to over Shabbat. We can pick them back up. Give us this day the expansiveness of breath, of presence, of breathing, of being, of loving, of openness, of reflection, of fellowship and kindness. Page 16. Sing out that praise. Sing to what is good. Samru Adonai v'chidor, v'chidor v'kol zimra. Tzotzrot b'kol shofar, ariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, yiram hayam umlo, tevel ve'yoshveva, neharot yimcha. Ve'amim b'meisharim, yiram hayam umlo, tevel ve'yoshveva, neharot yimcha uchav yachad, harim yeranenu. turn to page 44. Put your finger in 44. Turn to page 13. This is where we find our happy place. On 13, we are at the bottom paragraph. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umelo. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umelo. Yismechu Malachutecha, 44. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu Malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shavi Shabbat. Kulam Yismehu Vayitangu Metuvecha Shabbat. Yismehu Malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu Malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Ve'ashvihi Ratzita bo v'kiddushto Shabbat. Chemdan yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Zecher L'maseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher L'maseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat Bekorei, Oneg. Call it a delight. Shabbat. Page 22, page 20. L'chadodi, calling out, come to us, our beloved. And with anticipation, we call that out. La da 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 da, l'chadodi. La da 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 da, likrat kala. Ya da 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 da, b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor v'zachor, v'libor echad. Hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. dodi, yararai, yarananai, likrat kala, yarananai, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila, tehila, yararai, yaranana lecha dodi, yararai, yaranana likrat kala, yaranana b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Fifth stanza. Hitoreri, ki va'orech kumi uri, shitjaberi, kevod Adonai, alalik nila, yararai, yaranana lecha dodi, yararai, yaranana likrat kala, yaranana b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise if you're able. Ninth stanza, and we face the back. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, yararai, yaranana lecha dodi, yararai, yaranana likrat kala, yaranana b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please remain standing, face the ark. And we remain standing for the Baruch Hu on page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. Find your handout. Scan for those knots so we can let the evening even it all out. Sacred words, even the evenings. Wisdom opens gates locked around our hearts. Shebit varo ma'ari varavim, bechochma poteach she'arim. Evening the frayed edges of our lives. Ma'arim, aravim, amen. Understanding all alters with the times, changing seasons, cycles divine. Uvit funam eshanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives, Marie, Aravim, Amen. Paint diamonds on the canvas called sky, soothe our souls with a lilting lullaby. Mesaderet hakochavim, b'mishmorotehem b'rakia kirtzono. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives, Marie, Aravim, Amen. Rolling, rolling into the night, rolling, rolling away the light. Golel or mipnei hoshech, vehoshech mipnei or. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives, Ma'iv Aravim, Amen. Spirit of the night, we bless your name. Eternal light, eternal flame, El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives, Marim, Aravim, Amen. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. Other side of the page. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. We're embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we're too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we're too embittered to hear. We are loved, 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 loved by an unending love, an unending love. We are loved, 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 loved by an unending love, an unending love. We're supported by hands that uplift us in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we're too weak for meeting. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Amen. Page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchutali Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vetecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha leman tizkeru Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Turn to page 37 and read the English together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you're tired or you're rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. And all this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us, that you alone are our God, and we are Israel. We're your people. Page 40.
Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef eleh, nora tehilot, osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, okei hayam, lifnei musharam. Zeheli, anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch leolam. va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders?
ונאמר כי באדוני את יעקב ויעלו מי החזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
גאל ישראל.
Amen. Page 43.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Keep that going with us.
Let there be love and understanding among us.
Yes.
Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu and Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu and Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let there be love. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Invite us to rise for the Amidah. Settle into our heart space. Turn to page 46. Just searching for the words. We'll continue together and then finish privately. Yanadai, 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 Adonai. Yanadai, 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Yanadai, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Yanadai, 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 Adonai. Yanadai, 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Yanadai, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Yanadai, 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 Adonai. Yanadai, 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Yanadai, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim Bekonei Hakol Lezocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot Umevi Gula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh Metim Atah Le'Hoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayeh Metim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Val Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua Ne'eman Atah Chayot Metim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMetim Atah Kadosh B'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kdoshim B'Chol Yom Yalelucha Selah Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKadosh. Please continue privately between pages 54 and 60 or the text of your heart. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Yam pam pam pam, yararam pam pam, yararam pam pararam pam, bararai na 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 na, yan na 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 na, yan na 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 na, yan na 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 na, yan na 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 na. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Yananai-nai-nai-nai, yananai-nai-nai, together, yananai-nai-nai-nai, 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 ba-da-dum-pam-pam, yananai-nai-nai-nai, 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 yananai-nai-nai. We reach for you, O God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment. Listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. Oh, this balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness, where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness, from which we will reach out to each other. We'll find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. Turn to page 253 and recall those people in our community, in our families, who need healing. Healing of body, spirit, psyche, relationship, self. It's all kosher. Middle of 253.
Sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Today we're especially praying for Millie Rottenberg, Howard Simon, Gloria Berkowitz, Gittel Bat Chana, Beryl Ben Sima Vishmua Leib, Steve Gellis, Sholem Avram Ben Golda Yeshayahu, Michael Rosenblum, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Bat Sarah Yitzchak, Maxwell Zwain, Menachem Mendel Ben Yehuditu Michael, Alan Mentha, Alon Ben Yael Perel, Eric Rivchin, Luke Wright, Kendall Chaya Rafaela Bat Yehudit Sharon, Dolores Mikkel, Harav Eliyahu Ben Miriam V'Avraham, Anita Wellen, James Janelle and Bill Edgar, Dr. Valerie Lany, and to these names we add they know.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Refuah Shlema, may they know healing fully, uneventfully, and bless those who care for them. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I am so very excited to be studying with 6 extraordinary individuals who have stepped up for a year of study, culminating in an adult B'nai Mitzvah ceremony. Mark your calendars. Be here the morning of November 11th, 2023 to celebrate their achievements. Seth is one of the 6. And you know some of the other ones. So Deborah Lipp is in the group, and Tom Rosensweet, he's studying, and Suzanne Goldstein-Smith, and Megan Dolby-Russick, and Beth Achenbach. I think that's the 6 of them. Some of the class never had a B'nai Mitzvah when they were 13. Some did, and they're renewing the experience. And some weren't even Jewish when they were 13. So it's an amazing group, and I'm really proud of them. And if you were on the fence, there's probably another week or 2 to jump in, so if you're interested, do let me in. Do let me know. Now, when we were talking about, this was actually just last night, it's fresh in my mind, we were talking about which parsha we would choose, which week we would do this B'nai Mitzvah. The subject of how triggering and upsetting some of the narratives in the Torah are, particularly more the misogynistic texts. And it's not unreasonable to ask why the Torah even includes stories of incest, deception, using wives and daughters as pawns in power games, or to protect or to aggrandize the men, the husbands, the fathers, and putting these women in profoundly vulnerable and dangerous positions that threaten their lives and their welfare. Each troubling example and the big chauvinistic picture should rightly be taken in its own right, as well as the cultural context of the ancient Near East. And taken in a post-biblical rabbinic context, sometimes the rabbis turn these horrific examples into spiritual metaphors. Sometimes they're just simply apologists for very bad behavior. And embarrassingly, sometimes they simply just appear tone deaf to the injustice which seems to scream out of the page. And the answer to why the question these stories are in our canon are rarely answered in the text of the Torah itself. The Torah very rarely comments on the stories it presents. It just sort of tells the stories. And in many cases, we're sort of left with our mouth agape, saying, did I just read what I think I read? Indeed, the power of the Torah is the questions that we ask of it, demand of it, and the conclusions that we draw from it. Now, I couldn't be Jewish, and I certainly could not be standing here in front of you if the rabbis who define what is post-biblical Judaism condoned this kind of behavior, and if they didn't enshrine laws that clearly forbid the kind of thing that we too often read in the Torah. Still, the beauty of the text of the Torah is very often revealed only the closer and more often you read it, because even the smallest of words shine a light on the true meaning if we dare to engage in the text. Now, there are countless commentaries on the text of Torah, and I want to share one close such reading of this week's Parsha that's written by Rabbi Leah Bass. She happens to be one of my very earliest teachers and the very first woman rabbi from Latin America to be ordained as a rabbi. And I'm going to be reading it from a book that's in my library. I brought it here, the Women's Commentary, Women's Torah Commentary. Happy to let anybody paw through it after services. It was published in the year 2000. And I didn't want to read from the book, so I copied it here. Just as a reminder where we are in the Torah, Jacob, whose name is now Yisrael, is married to both Leah and her sister Rachel. He also has two concubines, Bilhah and Zilpah. He has children with all four women, and his eldest, through Leah, is named Reuven. And Rabbi Bass writes as follows when drawing from the following pasuk from the text. This is the pasuk. While Yisrael stayed in the land, Reuven went and lay with Bilhah, the concubine of his father, and Israel found out. And Rabbi Bass writes that toward the end of this Torah portion, Reuben, Jacob's older son, lies with Bilhah. In an actual Torah parchment, this verse is written in Hebrew in a way that is physically detached from the rest of the writing. In Hebrew, this kind of verse is termed a piska be'emtza pasuk, meaning that a paragraph that ends right in the middle of the verse. It's a mysterious verse. It's a conflict between a father and a son, and a woman is caught in the middle. Great material for a soap opera. Now, we have no indication of the feelings, the reasons, and the motivations behind Reuven's action. The Torah, as I mentioned, is sparse about feelings in general, so there's a lot of room for imagination. Maybe Reuven was trying to establish his power by sleeping with his father's concubine. Since he was the firstborn, he would be the one to receive all the responsibility and all of the benefits over his brothers. And by lying with his father's concubine, he was ensuring his power and supremacy over them. In the Talmud, Shabbat suggests that when Rachel died, Jacob moved Bilhah's bed into his tent. And Reuben was very angry and said, "Is it not enough that my mother was so disrespected while her sister was alive?" Reuben was Leah's son, as I mentioned. "Now my mother is going to be diminished by a concubine?" And for that reason, Reuben in the Midrash went and lay with Bilhah. According to this Midrash, Reuben wanted to avenge his mother. He committed adultery and incest and also dishonored his father in order to honor his mother. Now, in our day, this doesn't seem like a fitting monument to the memory of one's mother, though in the patriarchal context of its own time, Reuben might well have sincerely believed that it was. But Bilhah's voice is not heard. And we don't know to what extent she was a willing partner in this relationship with Reuben. The son may have had unresolved issues with his father, and so Bilhah was put in the middle. Interestingly, though, when Jacob blesses his sons, he says that because of this transgression, Reuben's rights of firstborn are rescinded. They're taken away. He's stripped. Still, none of the commentators deal directly with Bilhah. Their main focus is to condemn Reuben for sleeping with his father's concubine. In other words, for utilizing his father's property. Because Reuben was not written off from Jacob's will, the commentators explain that he actually repented of what he did, and he was the first one to do teshuvah. Again, apologists. For that reason, the rabbis teach that he merited to have the prophet Hosea come from his tribe, because Hosea was the first to call the Israelites to repentance. But still, not a word about Bilhah, not a word about the woman. How did she feel? Was she a willing partner? The clue to her feelings, and this is what I love about Torah, how you can learn so much from one little word. The clue to her feelings comes from the preposition et, which is used here to mean with in the phrase, he lay with her. Now the word et is not translatable into English, but its grammatical function in Hebrew is to show that the word that follows it is an object, the object of the verb that preceded it. So the verb form he lay, vayishkav, used of a man with a woman, implies a sexual encounter. And it's usually followed by the word im, and im means with. For example, when this verb form is used to describe the kind of encounter that David has with Bathsheba in the book of Samuel, or between Jacob and Leah 5 chapters back, both times are seen as consensual in the context of the text, or initiated even by the woman in the preposition, and both times the preposition is used, the example is im, after Vayishkav. So Vayishkav im, and he lay with. Yet when it comes to Bilhah, the preposition et is used, not im. Im is with. Et is the objectifier. So it seems to connote that Bilhah is merely an object of this act. As in vulgar English slang, we might say that he laid Bilhah. The use of the preposition et in our text implies that in this case of sex, force was a factor. Now, there are two other instances in the Hebrew Bible where that expression, vayishkav et, is found. And both are sex initiated by a man done to a woman. The first time we see that is in the rape of Dinah in Genesis 34, when we see et in the rape, and then again we see the word et in the rape of Tamar in the second book of Samuel. The third incident is here with Bilhah. So the other two are very clearly forced. And those are the only other times that that word is used. So by connection, we might conclude that this too is false, is forced. And what do these three women, Dinah, Tamar, and Bilhah, have in common? Now, in her story, Tamar is not a willing partner to Amnon. In her story, Dinah does not seem to be a willing partner to Shechem. Through a classic inferential Torah technique, the same claim can be made with Bilhah. And Rabbi Bass suggests that in Bilhah's case, she too did not consent. It was rape. Of course, we would not wish that Bilhah was raped. What would we gain from the Bible by having yet another story of humiliation and pain? But by using the preposition et in these three incidents, the Torah does have an important lesson. No means no. In these three incidences, it's clear that the motivation for the encounter is not desire, it's not love. The issue is power, as we've learned in our modern times. It's a violent act. It's an act of establishing authority and power through fear. And in the case of Tamar, the act would establish Amnon's power over his half-siblings, specifically over Absalom, who was the next in line to succeed King David. And by raping his half-sister Tamar, Amnon desperately tries to establish his dominion over his brother's family. In the case of Dinah, she becomes a pawn in the fight between Shechem and his father Hamor, who possessed the land, and the newcomers, Jacob and his sons. And in taking her by force, Shechem tries to establish his power over the land and his right to do whatever he deemed right in the land. And in the case of Bilhah, we have Reuven trying to establish his power over his father's estate. His father was old, and the inheritance would be his sooner or later. And so he begins to exert that power immediately to make sure that the message to the other brothers is clear. This, then, is the spark that makes the Parsha shine for us. Because this message is as relevant today as it was centuries ago. As people, still often men, continue to use and abuse women as pawns in that same game of power. And as distasteful and troubling as these three narratives are, they also show that making women suffer is not the road to attain power. Because ultimately, in these three texts, Amnon is killed by his half-brother Absalom in revenge for his sister. Shimon and Levi kill Shechem and his people in revenge for their sister. And Reuven loses all of his privileges, including the rights of the firstborn. The Torah is teaching us and acknowledging that rape is about power, but it will never secure the power that the perpetrator seeks. And every time a woman affirms that no means no, we all will know that the Torah supports her. And I dare say, every time the Torah offers a story that upsets or triggers us, that is an invitation to delve deeper into the language and message, to find what is right and what is true and what is universal and what is just. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn back to the Siddur, to Aleinu for page 282, and rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. May all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. 287.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ.
let's now turn to those who walked with us, who taught us, who gave us life, who held our hands but who no longer walk this earth. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294, when as a community we are remembering David B. Finkelstein, Anna Simmons Gerwitz, my father-in-law Abe Kushner, Manuel Levine, Claudia Rothstein, John Edward Rottenberg, Irving Singer, Rhonda Joyce Wasserman, and Abraham Wellen. Is there anyone else who is observing a yard site or is in their year of mourning? I invite you to say their name out loud and rise for the occasion. And so if it is your custom to rise for the Mourner's Kaddish, I invite you to do so now, otherwise you may remain seated. Page 294. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach eruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal Shmei dekudesha breichu le'elam mikol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen.
May their memories always be for blessings. Hey Seth, do you feel like doing announcements?
Hello.
There you go.
Gosh, these look much longer when you read it.
But it's big type, it's big type.
Newsflash, we have been pre-approved to receive $1.5 million from FEMA so far, and I actually expect more. The social hall renovation is happening, but we need everyone to donate to cover the 10% FEMA doesn't pay. If you haven't stepped up to take the Chai Challenge, now is the time. Donate a multiple of Chai, that's 18, for 12 months. If every family donates $180 for 12 months, we would meet or exceed our needs. If $180 is too much of a stretch, can you do 126 or 72 or 36 monthly? Your name, your multiple, but we hope every single member of our community will donate to this important effort. Find the Chai Challenge page on our website or find the link in the weekly or newsletter. Watch for announcements of our groundbreaking ceremony and celebration coming soon. Urgent update, matching funds available. A generous member has offered to match up to 10 families who commit by December 31st to donate $180 for 12 months. Make your donation go even further. Pledge, pay now. Does your workplace match charitable donations? If you don't know, find out and help make your donation dollars go further. Lots of companies do. Ask about Benevity. We have dropped all mask and vaccine requirements. We have, however, established a mask required section of the sanctuary for people who feel most comfortable sitting near other masked people. Come to services and double your mitzvah points by just pushing a couple of buttons. Talk to me, Seth Lubin, about being part of the tech crew to ensure our services are live streamed to all at home. Plenty of other ways to rack up those mitzvah points by volunteering a little or a lot, or just ask Tom or Rabbi at the Oneg. Religious School will be meeting this Sunday. PJ Library of Hudson County is sponsoring a toy and PJ drive through December 22nd. You can find the email address to make arrangements in the weekly email. Our next Tat Shabbat will be tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. for singing, dancing, story time, and other age-appropriate activities. And lots of beautiful children. Our next wine and cheese preneg will be next Friday, December 16th at 7:15 p.m. Our Hanukkah celebration and Laka and Sufganayot Fest will take place on Friday, December 23rd at 6 p.m. BYO Hanukkah and candles, and help us flood our sanctuary with light and song. To join the guys on the Laka team in the kitchen, contact Tom Rosensweet. Change the world one meal at a time with 1 hour out of your week. Help feed our hungry and homeless neighbors Thursdays at our food pantry. Don't have an hour? Help feed them with a donation for the food we buy. Details on the website, or just show up. You'll be glad you did.
Yizkor. Great job. Thank you. Okay. I think we're going to close out our service with Ein Keloheinu on 322. Yum bum 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 ba da 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 da. Yum dun 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 da 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 da. Yum na 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 na. Ya na na na. Ya na 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 na. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu. Ya na na ya na na ya na na. Ein Kemoshienu, mi Kelohenu, mi Chadonenu, mi Chemalkenu, yadada 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 yadada, mi Chemoshienu, no del Elohenu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkenu, yadada yadada yadada. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Yadada Yadada Yadada, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Yadada Yadada yam bam ba da 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 da, yam bam 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 ba da 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 da, ya na 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 na, ya na na na, ya na 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 na. Shabbat shalom. Always exciting to break open a brand new loaf of challah. Ooh, cut in big pieces too. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Oh, it's good. It's very fresh. Who wants to make French toast on Sunday? No? Shabbat shalom, everybody. So good. It's just really good. It's really good. I like it even